Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to HJN and Flying with the Foam. And for today, I'm proud to talk about something different, based on all things Nerf. And that of which would be Modulus Regulator. So this, of course, is episode number 653. A pretty unique number in and of itself, out of many 3-digit numbers that I could have come across sooner or later. But anyways, the Regulator is certainly another type of Modulus blaster that really does allow for tons of compatibility. Because as you probably would have guessed already, this switch over here shows that this thing does have 3 different modes of firing. There is, of course, the standard single shot mode, well, I've had a little bit of problems with this thing trying to get it to fire properly, but let's try it again since I managed to clear it up for you. As I was saying before, there's a single shot firing mode. Seems simple enough, but when you get down to the other firing modes, including burst fire mode, that is a pretty unique innovation itself, as there have been lots of cases with people trying to utilize burst firing techniques on full auto blasters out there. And there have been a lot of full auto blasters out there that we managed to get in recent years, including a few from the Elite lineup and many others along the way. But the majority of full auto blasters would have to do with slam fire, or they'd have to do with anything that relates to holding down the trigger. But the Regulator seems to change the game in many different ways, and that's a pretty unique specimen for anything. Anything that I've already seen involving motorized action certainly would not compare to this, as this does in fact come fully loaded and prepared for many different possibilities that you could possibly get into. And to make things a lot better, because this is in fact a Modulus blaster, that means that, well, you get the possibility of tons of different impressive combinations, especially with 1, 2, 3 tactical rails. And yes, the 3rd tactical rail actually doubles as the jam door. And if you haven't already noticed, then well, we've been getting a lot of blasters more recently with the more tread-like pusher. This right here is the tread that actually pulls the dart into the flywheels, which makes it a little more difficult in a way, because you'd especially have to have high power just to be able to get the dart to go into the flywheel, as it's not necessarily a pusher stick like there usually would. The majority of, well, semi-auto or full auto motorized Nerf blasters would normally have a pushing rod that would push the dart into the flywheels with the pull of the first trigger, and with the second trigger would of course operate the flywheels. But this one, however, does things a bit differently, and it would actually be later adapted into Rivals blasters, especially with the Prometheus and Perseus, blasters of which I will not be talking about for a while, but you could probably see where I'm going at. The same exact tread pattern that appears in here would be later adapted into such blasters in the future. So of course, that's pretty much how Hasbro is able to get away with some new little innovation like this, but of course a pusher rod probably would have been more necessary here. But I probably wouldn't really complain. The big flaw about this though is that, especially if you're relying on the tread to catch the dart and have it sent into the flywheel to send it flying, you'd probably have to have some high voltage to be able to get the tread to move around fast enough, so this way the dart can get into the flywheel without getting stuck or jammed. And this thing has had some issues with that, probably because of how low on power the batteries are. So of course I might have to have them replaced. But anyways, as I was saying before though, well, there are the possibilities of different attachments and combinations that you can possibly get onto, as this is in fact a modulus blaster. So let's give it a little obligatory attachment craze, of course. These are just a couple examples of ones that I have nearby that I can use. Here's the Ion Fire barrel and a Zulu Cavalier stock. So that pretty much just takes care of those things when it comes to attachment showcases that I probably should have done at the time. But again, it's fine whether I had the blaster or not. But time for another little piece of mind, and that would be the Nail Biters stock. So that takes care of 3 other blasters pretty much completely. Though of course I probably wouldn't be talking about the Zulu Cavalier's drum or the barrel of the Nail Biter or the dart holder and the Ion Fire, but either way, the Regulator certainly does have itself a pretty good amount of customization potential that you could put into it. At the same time that it also has itself all 3 modes of motorized firing action. This thing is pretty much a monster when it comes to all that. So of course, that's pretty much just that, really. There goes the last Nerf dart, but anyways, that was the one that just caused all the trouble there, but well, this red light here that's blinking just means that it's out of ammo, so that's a pretty good indicator right there. But that's basically all that I got to talk about for the Regulator today, and there are in fact lots of other unique examples out there in the Nerf series itself that we've been getting all the time now. But I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. But if you want to see more go down on my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.